having me.
Yeah, all right. So welcome everyone. Our first reader of the night is going to be Lowell Mick White. Lowell Mick White is the author of 3 books: Professed, That Demon Life, novels, and A Long Time Good, a short story collection, winner of the Gabal Press Novel Award, and Adobe Paisano Fellow. White's newest novel, Burnt House, is a novel and story set in a small town in central West Virginia. Please welcome Lowell Mick White.
Thank you. And it's kind of tough following wonderfulness and beauty. And thank you, Andrea and Malvern, for putting this together. It's always good to be at Malvern. And thanks for people taking time out of their hectic dystopian lives to come here and do some art. I'm going to read a short piece from Burnt House and then a short piece from my work in progress. Burnt House, sort of a novel in stories. It's a novel. And it's set in West Virginia, which is where I'm originally from. I've been in Texas and Austin pretty much since 1978, but West Virginia is in the background. I spent much of my formative years there. And this book sort of started when a few years ago, I was teaching in the prison in Bryan, Texas, part of a federal project, Teach Creative Writing, and they flew us out to California for training, and there was a guy there who taught at the Alderson Women's Prison in West Virginia, and it was the first time I'd been around somebody from West Virginia in, 18, 20 years, and hearing that guy's accent, hearing his largely bullshit stories, it either triggered me into weirdness or inspired me into genius, one of the two. And so I began work on Burnt House. Burnt House is the title or name of the town everybody lives in here. And I'm going to read, okay, so this chapter is called Sleep Enough. The old man never went to bed early enough. He'd sit and stare at the TV, watching all through the evening, through the news and on into Johnny Carson, grumping and arguing about everything, making everybody miserable. This went on for months and months until one evening when Mark got fed up and decided to knock the old bastard out. That night, Randy called and said she could maybe come over later, but it really would be sneaky because her parents didn't want her going out. The old man didn't like her hanging around either. She could come over only after everyone was asleep, and her parents had just now gone to bed, her little sister too. And what was wrong with that old man? Why didn't he just go to sleep? He's too mean to sleep, Mark said. Randy said, I bet he is. He has nightmares when he does sleep, Mark said. Well, I'm not surprised. He's so mean. The phone was a party line. Anybody could listen in if they wanted to, but Mark didn't care. He wanted everybody to know how mean the old man was. He wakes up screaming in the night sometimes, Mark said. He says things chase him in his sleep. Good, Randy said. Then she lowered her voice, whispered, don't you want to see me? Mark paused. The phone was in the dining room, and the old man was out there in the front room, sitting in his wheelchair in front of the TV. He grumped a little when Mark came in to talk on the phone, but no more than usual. Don't worry, Pap, it's not long distance, Mark told him. Long distance made the old man crazy. Just about everything made the old man crazy. Don't you want to see me, Brandy asked. Sure, Mark said. Party line now. He needs to get to sleep, Brandy said. What's his problem? The dining room bumped open then, and the old man came scooting in. You still talking to that girl? Still talking, Mark said. What? Brandy asked on the phone. Is that him? Is he there? Yeah. I wish he'd just go to sleep. The old man hoisted himself up and out of the wheelchair and took a clumsy, awkward step or two into the kitchen. It was painful to watch him. It's painful to watch him. It hurt. The old bastard moved so slow. Mark heard a pan bang into something against the stove, then something clattered, hitting the floor. Another pan. Mark thought, I'd like to hit him over the head with a pan. Knock him out. Then he thought, well, I could knock him out. Maybe I could. Mark said into the phone, "Call me back." It was his brother Paul's idea. Paul had actually done it first, did it a lot of times, he said, at least he said, brag. He'd been a medic in the Green Berets. He knew about medicine and pills. He spent a summer once in Burn House after he got out of the Army. He said, when that old man starts acting up and cussing at me like a dog, I just dump some pills in his coffee and knock him the fuck out. Yeah, it always works. Paul remembered thinking then, no, that's not right to slip Pap a pill like that, a handful of pills. Might kill Pap. It seemed wrong to Mark then, but that was before he moved to Burn House himself and found out what a true bastard the old man really was. Now, it made sense. Mark hung up the phone and went out through the front room. Johnny Carson's monologue was over. He was sitting at the desk with Ed. Then he went down to the basement to his bedroom. After his grandma died, Mark took all her potentially useful prescriptions, Dilaudid, Tylenol 3, Valium, and put them in a box hidden away on the shelf of his room, and no one, not even Brandy, knew he had them. Mark pulled the box down, and the Valium looked like it might work. One or two, though. 1, 2, or maybe 3? One, Mark said aloud. He didn't know, though. The old man was skinny and old. 2 might be too many. 1 might be too many, too. But what the hell? The old bastard needed to sleep anyway. Maybe sleep forever. No, really, he did need to sleep forever. 2 pills. Or 3. Back upstairs, the old man was still messing around in the kitchen. The damn wheelchair was blocking the doorway, and Mark couldn't get around it to see what was going on. Pat, Mark asked, what are you doing in there? I'm looking for, the old man banged into something else. Hell, I don't know. Looking for something to eat, I guess. Well, get out of the way, Pat. I'll see if I can find something.
I have a question.
She heavily into the wheelchair. I don't know, the old man said. I can't find any goddamn thing in there. Mark scrunched around him and stood by the sink. The old man looked alert and mean, sitting there, pale and skitty with the kitchen light flitting off his glasses. The evil goddamn son of a bitch piece of shit. Maybe some hot chocolate, Mark asked. Some hot chocolate and maybe a piece of that cake. Maybe that'll help you sleep. Hell, I guess. Mark poured some milk in a pan and set it on the fire low. He went further back into the kitchen so the old man couldn't see and crushed up a pair of the little blue tablets, and then he brought the powder back and dumped it into the milk. It didn't bubble or anything. That was probably a good sign, but was it enough? Was it too much? When the milk was warm, he poured it in a cup and added a package of hot chocolate mix. It looked okay. Mark stuck his head around the corner and looked in the dining room. The old man was just sitting in his wheelchair, staring at the table. Just staring. Not even doing anything. What was he thinking about? Ways to treat people mean, probably. Go on out and look at the TV, Mark said. I'll bring it to you. The old man wheeled out and went into the front room. Mark sliced a piece of Mary's chocolate cake and brought it and the hot chocolate to the old man. Here you go, Mark said. The old man grunted and squinted down into the cup. It's not too hot, I don't think, Mark said. The old man sipped his drink and they watched Johnny Carson talking to Mary Tyler Moore. It was hot in the room. It was always hot, and the fire was showing blue and yellow flames. After a while, the old man yawned. You get sleepy, Mark asked. God damn it to hell, the old man said. Mark was holding a copy of the Weston paper, pretending to read it while the old man yawned and nodded. After a while, he did read it a little. There was a court listing for a man named Simon Posey from Oldfield Fork who'd been arrested for burglary. Brandy's mother was a Posey from over in Lewis County. The Poseys had a reputation for being a trashy bunch, but Mark had once heard the old man allow that not all the Poseys were bad. Maybe he was talking about Brandy. She wasn't bad. The old man didn't like her, though, but then he didn't much like anybody. Now the old man sighed and scooted his chair to the door of his bedroom, and he pulled himself up by the door frame and took a wobbly step or two over to the bed and sat down. The TV was still playing. Dick Van Dyke came out and sat with Johnny and Mary. Everybody on the TV was happy. Are you through watching, Pat? Mark asked. Hell, I don't know. The old man kicked off his slippers and slowly lowered himself back onto the bed. He reached out and shut off the light. Mark waited a moment. Then he got up and walked into the dining room and called Brandy. Called her number, her parents' number, and let it ring once. Then it hung up. That was her signal. Back in the front room, Mark turned off the TV and stood outside the old man's room. He was asleep at last. Really, it was a good thing to sleep. A few days earlier, the old man had been complaining about being tired, about not getting enough sleep. He said back when he was young and working hard, he would need 9 hours or so of sleep a night. Now he was down to 2 or 3. Tired all the damn time, he said. And really, he was sick and wasted away and skinnied down to nothing but meanness and bone and meanness and bone and anger. Rage. Almost 90 years of being mad. But now he was sleeping. Maybe he was sleeping. There were soft steps on the front porch and Brandy stuck her head in the door. Mark gestured silence and waved her in the direction of the kitchen, and he followed her. The old man was quiet in his room. He's asleep, Brandy whispered. He just dropped off, Mark said. He stood in the doorway watching Brandy. She was busily putting away all the cans of food and cooking pots the old man put down and left sitting out. She was quiet, though, working with her lips pursed. Mark said, "You better be quiet for a bit." "That mean old man," Brandy said. "Still, you have to be nice to him." Mark said, "Wish he was dead half the time." Brandy jumped and kissed him, or kissed at him. Awkward, she missed his mouth, and he flinched as she banged her nose into his cheek, and they both laughed. "Don't be down on yourself," Brandy said. "You're a good grandson. Look how you take care of that old man. Look how you take care of me." "Yeah," Mark said. He thought, "I took care of the son of a bitch all right. Maybe I'll kill him. Maybe I'd like to kill him. I sure drugged him, those 2 pills." Mark said, "I suppose." "Yeah," Brandy said. She put her arms around his waist. "And we're going to have a good life together when you go, right?" "Sure," Mark said. "Sure?" Brandy asked. She kept asking that. Mark thought she didn't sound so sure sometimes. "Yeah, sure." Mark hugged her back a little. Her hair smelled like lilac shampoo, traces of smoke on her jacket. On the shelf behind her, Mark saw cans of pork and beans stacked up. The old man liked his goddamn pork and beans. The old man always got what he wanted. Mark said, "We'll have fun, and he'll die someday." They kissed quickly and broke apart. Mark shut off the kitchen light, then took Brandy's hand and led her through the dining room, set off the light there, and out into the front room. He let go of Brandy and shut off the lamp by the television. There was a night light glowing from the old man's room, and Brandy stepped as softly as she could across the squeaky floor and stood in his doorway, outlined in the soft blue light. Mark watched her stand there for a moment, the ends of her hair almost glowing, the rough fabric of her jean jacket. He stepped up next to her and put his hand at the small of her back, and the denim was cool. Brandy whispered, "He's not dead, right?" The old man lay at his side, facing him. Skinny like a skeleton, his teeth were in, but his glasses were off, his eyes shut as if he really were dead in the moon glow. He wasn't moving at all. "Mark?" Brandy leaned toward him and back into him softly. "You sure he's okay?" No, Mark thought. No, he's not okay. He's never been okay, the son of a bitch. He's never had an okay day in his goddamn life. The old man gasped then, shuddered, shivered, inhaled. Alive still. Brandy backed up, pushing Mark away from the doorway. He took her arm and led her around the hallway and started down the stairs to the basement to his bedroom. "Kill me if I ever get like that," Mark said over his shoulder. "Aw, baby," Brandy said. She touched the back of Mark's head. "You're never going to get like that." Yeah. So, the previous chapter, we see how mean that old man really is. He is kind of treats him quite badly. So, that's Birdhouse. It's sort of a series of stories that are linked together by place and by character. Novel. So my current work in progress is a novel called Normal School. And I'm doing this a little bit differently. I'm serializing this online. And so you can find it, the cards over there with the website and a little QR code. You can get to it easily. Normal School is a sequel to my book, Professed, and there are a couple copies over there. It's an academic noir. It takes place in an English department at a small university in Kansas. And you can probably say it's like Game of Thrones at an English department. Things do not turn out well for hardly anybody. And so this is dedicated to all the teachers here. I see several. I see a wonderful student here too. So it's dedicated to you. I'm going to read the first 2 chapters, and that's not scary because I write very short chapters. And this is how it opens at this small university in Kansas. It has the same narrator as a guy named Tom Holt, so some of you are familiar with. So one grim Monday, I was sitting there. Oh, and by the way, I warn you all. One of my beta readers said there's a lot of cussing in this, and there is. But as I look back through it, it's only the good people who cuss, which is sort of like an English department, right? So one grim Monday, I was sitting there staring vaguely into a dark corner of my office at work, staring not at the coat rack, but beyond it into a void of deeper, gloomier shadows, staring and trying to come up with enough energy to do something academic. Grade a paper, prep a class, write an email, anything. But sadly, my brain wouldn't respond, the energy wouldn't come, and out of the corner of my eye, I spotted Sally Baldwin, the English department's administrative assistant, step busily by the half-open door, tight black jeans and bright red sweater. That might mean trouble. Sally might mean trouble. I spun my chair around to face the computer and tried to remember if I had any paperwork to do. Sally only usually came stomping down to the offices if some poor professor missed the filing deadline on something. Sally believed in direct, forceful contact, not email, not phones. I heard Sally's big ring of keys jangle, heard her knock on the office door, the office next door, the office of Devin Shepard, my former girlfriend, who taught fiction in the creative writing program. Heard the keys jangle some more when she opened Devin's door, heard her call out to someone, "Nope, she's not here." "Tom?" I was jolted, spun in my chair again. The department chair, T. Wheeler, was standing in the doorway, leaning around the half-open door, looking flatly at me with her dull, tired, baggy eyes. "Tom," T asked, "have you seen Devin today?" No, I said. I felt suddenly guilty. Devin? I'd been sort of thinking about Devin, indirectly. Mostly I'd been thinking about me, but I hadn't seen her. "Where was Devin?" I said, "I don't think so. I haven't seen her around." "Well, Devin did show up to teach her morning classes," T said. "She didn't call in or anything." "Wow," I said. I thought, something's wrong. I said, "No, I haven't seen her today. I guess I saw her Friday." Out in the hall, Sally, the admin assistant, said, "I'm trying her phone again, no answer, just voicemail." I sat back in my chair and waited for something bad to happen. Something bad was happening, and I could tell if T was going to want me to do something about it. I thought, I'm going to have to go find out what's up with Devin. After a moment, T ducked her head back into my office. She asked, "Tom, are you busy right now?" Just two. Devin once told me that the hardest thing about teaching young students to write fiction was getting them to conceptualize the world of their stories, to think through what they were actually writing about. An example, she said the students always liked writing about characters who were grieving or depressed, about thinking through how having a depressed, grieving character might impact the overall story. What do depressed people do? Not a whole lot, right? They watch TV, they stare vaguely in the dark corners, and they can be limited in engaging in the conflict that drives most good stories. Devin told me that there was a way to get around this problem, to have a secondary or tertiary character drag the depressed protagonist out of their house and get them engaged in doing something. So that day I was sort of depressed. Why? Well, I was living in Weirton, Kansas, and teaching at Southeast Kansas State University. Two things right there big enough to depress almost anyone with a heart or a soul. But on that day, at that moment, I was sort of depressed because I was thinking about leaving Southeast Kansas, about getting another job at a different university. In fact, a few minutes before T stuck her head into my office, I'd hit the send button on a job application at Midwestern State down in Wichita Falls. I'd applied for a job, and I immediately had a case of post-application remorse. I suddenly worried, what if I got the job? Because if I got the job, I'd have to leave Weirton in Southeast Kansas State, places I truly hated. But I'd also have to leave Devin Shepard. What would I say to Devin? So, look at everything that happened after that day. Look at the murders, the suicides, the ruined careers, the weird, unexpected opportunities. Look at it all this way. One day I was staring off into a corner, bummed, worried about what I might say to Devin, and then T stuck her head into my office and told me that Devin was missing. And after that, everything changed. T asked, "Tom, are you busy right now?" Yeah, I was busy right then. I was busy being depressed. I was busy staring into a corner. I said, "Well, I have a class at 2:10. My class, a section of Introduction to Literature, we were covering A Streetcar Named Desire, coming up on the end, and I was planning to go over the text, but also show the ending to the classic Marlon Brando film version, which is a different ending than the actual play. I was going to focus on the shot where Blanche collapses and the camera spins around and Blanche is upside down. She's destroyed. Her life is upside down. Then I was going to show a similar scene from the more or less recent Batman movie, The Dark Knight, where the Joker's suspended upside down, but the camera whirls around so that the Joker is right side up and the audience is upside down. Gotham, society, human existence is upside down. I use those clips every semester. They become one of my favorite days of teaching because when you remember the faculty at Southeast Kansas State University, your life was fucking topsy-turvy, out of kilter, upside down, lopsided backwards, and inside out all at once. You were in the Joker's world. Basically, you're fucked. He said, we'll be back in time for your class. And those are the first 2 chapters. Read it online.